Hello YouTube, Chris Klein here once again, coming at you from Alamo Music Center in San Antonio, where it is just starting to get nice and hot and moist outside. Moist, that's a good word, right? So we're going to talk about a couple of digital pianos again today. Behind me, as you can see here, we have Roland's new FP10. It's from their FP line of digital pianos that have been incredibly popular. This one's brand new. And then we have Yamaha's P45, which some of us are probably already familiar with. But both of these are in the same price point, give or take a little, right under $500. Both are packed with immense value, weighted keys, all kinds of features. So we're going to talk about both of these keyboards, and then we're going to listen to them and see how they sound. I'll talk a little bit about the response of the keys and how the weighted keys feel slightly different from each other. So with that, let's go ahead and start looking at these keyboards, and let's see what we can discover. All right, so let's look at Roland's FP10 digital piano first. Now, once again, this is the latest addition to Roland's FP line of digital pianos. This is their most affordable, super compact, super sleek. It's just a little bit smaller than the Yamaha P45, which is really, really great. It's light, portable. The keys are fully weighted with escapement. As you move up and down the keyboards, the feeling of the keys will actually increase in weight or decrease depending on which way you're going. The keys are also made out of like a synthetic ivory that will actually absorb moisture from your fingers. Having a weighted keyboard is really, really important for all players, just to help keep your chops up, to strengthen your fingers, especially for new players that are just learning on their own or that are actually taking lessons. So having the feel of weighted keys that emulate the feel of a real piano, it's just incredibly important on so many different levels. Each of these keyboards feel slightly different from each other, but they offer the same type of technology in the way that they feel and the way that they play. So it's really going to be up to you as the player to determine which keyboard feels better underneath your hands, especially if you're a seasoned pianist or keyboard player. You're going to be able to get onto either of these and tell really quickly which one you prefer. I'm not here to tell you which one you need to prefer. I'm here to let you know that they both feel pretty darn good. Changing parameters on the FP10 is going to be done in combination with holding down a function key and then pressing keys on the keyboard. This is going to be applied to anything from, again, changing sounds or changing global parameters like tuning, or if you want to change, and there's a metronome on here, so if you want to change the metronome, the way it sounds, its volume, the time signature, all that's going to happen from here on the keyboard. So let me demonstrate for you really, really quickly how we can actually change the sounds on the FP10. It's incredibly simple. Hold down the function key. I press one of the piano keys. Let's press, we got a harpsichord on here, so do that, and pretty simple. So that's like a Wurlitzer Fender Rhodes, some sort of mechanical stage piano. There's two different patches on here for stage pianos or electric pianos. That kind of reminds me of the old DX7 Rhodes patch. We also have a couple of organs and a vibraphone on here. And then we switch to our organ. And of course, it's more of like a pipe organ patch, so this would probably be really, really great in places of worship as well. And then our favorite right now is the jazz scat patch. Lots of fun. Now, as you can see, I'm also not a professional pianist or keyboard player by any means. I just like to noodle and learn about them. So other features that we have on the FP10 are we can manipulate the touch sensitivity of the keys. We can also split the keyboard, or we can actually do what is called a twin mode. So you're basically splitting the keyboard in half, but both sides of the keyboard will be in the same octaves, which is really, really great if you have a lesson studio or you're a teacher and you're trying to play parts or go over different lessons or different exercises with your students while playing in the same octave. So the FP10 also allows us to manipulate different effects, if you will. You can change the ambience of the keyboard. You can also change the EQ, or what they call the brilliance. And for our piano tones, we can also adjust the key off, damper, and string resonance as well, which are really, really great features. And those last three effects that I mentioned, or the different resonances, are going to enhance the sound of the keyboard, or excuse me, the piano patches that exist on here, which are already fantastic. So, you know, being able to manipulate all these things is actually going to change and inspire the way you're going to approach the instrument and different sounds that you have built into the keyboard. And for those of you that are interested in the MIDI facilities that are included with the FP10, it also communicates MIDI via Bluetooth as well as over USB. So that way you can actually talk to different DAWs in your computer. So if you're a Pro Tools user or GarageBand, Logic, Ableton, you can use this as a weighted MIDI controller, which is really, really nice. It's a great feature to have. MIDI is very important. It's still alive and well. And as I mentioned before, the Roland FP10 is also really, really great for institutions and learning studios, teachers, with its feature set, different sounds, and having a metronome. So you can actually practice to a metronome, which is really, really important. Not only for helping to build and strengthen your own internal meter, but also for getting used to playing in, you know, larger ensembles. Let's say you have a drummer that you're playing with, and just getting used to having some sort of fixed timing reference happening at any given time. Playing to a click in headphones if you're in the studio. Playing to a metronome it's incredibly invaluable. So it's built in, and it's easy to access. All you have to do, function key, turn it on, and you can actually manipulate all the different parameters of the metronome. So using the keys, I can change the tempo, I can change the time signature, the volume, and those are all the parameters I can actually manipulate from the keyboard. So tempo, time signature, and the volume. Really, really great to have that built in. Other features included with the FP10 are stereo speakers, which are underneath. It has a headphone output. It is a mini jack or an 1/8 inch. If you plug in headphones, it will kill the speakers, so it will allow for silent practicing, which is great if you're living in a busy home and other people don't want to be disturbed, or if you're in an apartment or a dorm, you can practice all the time. I want to stress again that the form factor, the size of this thing, I mean, if you look at it, it's not much bigger than the keyboard itself. So there's a lot of great technology in here that lends itself to a better playing experience. Sonically, it's a great experience. It's really easy to move. It's really packed with tons of value. It's a fantastic feeling and sounding keyboard. So next up is Yamaha's P45. Now the P45, like the FP10, has a weighted keyboard. It's Yamaha's GHS, or Graded Hammer Standard keyboard. Like the FP10, as you move down and up the keyboard, the weight of the keys is going to change like it would on a normal piano or a regular acoustic piano, which once again is a great feature to have, especially if you are a new or intermediate player and you need to get used to the feel of a proper piano, strengthen your fingers, muscle memory, things of that nature. Also, like the FP10, the P45, with the P45, excuse me, you're going to manipulate most of the parameters in tandem with a function key and the keyboard. So if we want to change the sounds coming off of the P45, just like the FP10, what we're going to do is hold down the function key and then press one of the keys down here, so harpsichord. It's that simple. And a lot of the patches that are on the P45 are going to, in many ways, mirror what's on the FP10. So you're going to have multiple pianos, electric pianos, as well as an organ, two organs actually. Strings. And the vibraphone again. And the default of the function key is actually back to the grand piano. Like the FP10, the P45 also has its own built-in metronome. And of course, we're going to access it by pressing the function key and depressing, excuse me, a key on the keyboard. And with this, we can change the tempo, the time signature, as well as the volume once again. And all these things are going to happen with the keyboard. And then of course we can turn it off. So I want to stress the importance of a metronome once again. Really, really important if you're trying to work on your timing, your own internal meter, as well as if you need to understand how to practice with the click track if you're going to go into the studio, or not necessarily understand, but get comfortable with practicing to a click track, so that way when you go into a studio it's not going to be really, really alien. as well as, you know, running scales and other exercises and staying in time while you're doing it. So the metronomes are really, really nice, and it's built right here into the keyboard. Yamaha's P45, like the FP10, has a small form factor. It's slightly larger than the FP10, but not much. It's still incredibly portable for an 88 key or 88 weighted key digital piano. Really, really ideal for lesson studios, teachers, beginning students, intermediate, professional players. I mean, you can take this out and play with it, gig with it, both of them. If you live in an apartment or a dorm, once again, like this does have stereo speakers that are mounted internally, but it also has a headphone output, so you can actually practice silently so you're not disturbing other people around you. It's just full of all kinds of really, really great features. And again, for you MIDI enthusiasts, this does have MIDI. You can transmit MIDI over USB, so this can actually be your weighted keyboard controller for popular DAWs like Pro Tools, Ableton, Logic. There's so many today, but it is a very viable option if you're looking for weighted keys. Now, if you're looking for something that has, you know, faders and potentiometers, pots, knobs, and stuff like that, both of these aren't going to do that for you, but for weighted keyboard controllers, they both feel really, really great. Very, very expressive, and I'm going to stress it one more time, having weighted keys, if you are any level player, really, really important for that muscle memory, building up muscle tone in your fingers, and just getting a more enjoyable playing experience all around. You can also manipulate the touch sensitivity of the keyboard just like you can on the FP10. There are different levels of sensitivity that you can actually address. And you can also, like the FP10, you can split the keyboard in various ways. So you can actually have separate patches, or it can be in a dual mode for teacher-student, or if you're doing like some kind of duo. And actually with the P45, when you do that, if you split the keyboard left and right into a dual mode, well, whatever's happening on the left side is going to be output from the left speaker, and whatever's happening on the right side will be output from the right speaker, which is a pretty nice feature, especially if you're sitting, you know, both of you are sitting here at the keyboard together, and you're trying to get a better idea of what's happening with the patch that you're actually tuned into. All right, thanks for tuning in again today. We hope that we successfully gave you the information that you're looking for both of these digital pianos. If not, you can always contact us and we can definitely give you some more info should you need it. Again, both of them are really great, sound great. Really stoked about this new addition from Roland, the FP10. We think it's going to be a great success for players, teachers, everybody, as well as the P45. The P45 will continue to be a successful keyboard. So with that being said, if you have not subscribed to our channel yet, you can do that. You can also leave your comments below. We'd love to hear your feedback. All feedback is great feedback. And I guess that's it for today. So again, thanks for tuning in. This is Alamo Music in San Antonio, Texas. I'm Chris Klein, and we will see you again soon.